Hi everyone, welcome to the Water Market Report. This is our last for the 24-25 water year, so thought might give a little bit of a recap of what's happened. Temporary market, the year started off at, for the below choke zones in the Bidgee at around the 130, 140, full allocations, huge amount of carryover from the year before, which was a wet year. And it tracked along at the 140, 150 for most of the year until we got to January, where things sort of obviously started to dry out. The Bidgee allocations were, on general, were faltering in the 30%, and from January we had an increase from 150 up to 200, and then sort of very late in the year, April, we went from 200 up to 300 and even touching 350 there for a little while, and it settled back down around the 300. So, you know, a doubling of the temp price in those zones over the year, which is reflective of the dry conditions we've had and the decreasing storages. Above choke and Goulburn, a similar sort of story. We started off at the year at sort of 80, and for most of the year it tracked between 80 and 120. And then once we got through Christmas towards the end, with annual croppers needing water to finish off and so on, we went up from sort of 120 up to 180, 200, 220 sort of thing. And once again, it's going to finish the year at around the 200. So, you know, reflective of drying conditions and the storages. Thankfully, we've got the water coming down into Menindee, which will sort of take the edge off the dry conditions for next year in terms of allocations. The forecast for allocations, as we know, is uncertain, and it sort of depends on the weather conditions from here on out. But certainly in the New South Wales general security allocations are indicating it's going to start quite low, and if we continue with dry conditions it might only get to 15-20% by sort of October, November, December. The Vic high reliability products should have a healthy opening allocation of 30s and 40s, and should roll out towards 100, but once again, if it stays very dry, there's a chance we'll get through to December without full allocation there, and SA will open at 100, and the New South Wales high security products will open at 97 and 95%. So looking forward to seeing what happens in the year ahead. In the perm market, you know, pretty stable prices throughout the year, but obviously the Commonwealth tenders that started last September and is just sort of rolling out and getting acceptances still now are going to influence the market moving forward, and also the dry conditions, but also the increase in commodity prices, particularly almonds, may have an impact on the permanent market in the year ahead. Yeah, thank you for your support throughout the year, and we look forward to being of service to you in the new water year. Thanks for listening.